Hi, Scorpio. Alright, so Briar in the moonlight. I saw green. I saw like really new green leaves with the light shining upon them during the day and at night. Okay, so welcome to this time. Happy opposite birthday if you happen to find this in May. The readings have been really cool this month, so I'm sure yours will follow suit. Capricorn gave us some inspiration. So what we'll be doing this month is choosing from this really old deck. I've told a few signs, but it's neat. It's like, this is the original deck. Someone tried to copy it, or like, I guess we could say was inspired by it. But I found the book, which this deck is called the Mythic Tarot. We've read from this a couple times, but it's been a couple years, and I think it's cool that we're tapping back in. So it's the storytelling, right? We even used to read like that more, and I feel like the flow is coming back to when something felt really good. And I heard someone say, you deserve it. So, Woodpecker, yeah, that takes a lot of hard work, right, to hold the feeling of love. Which, mind you, Venus is also highlighted, and your 8th house. We could combine these, and I could also see that this is loving energy around your lessons. It could be where there's like an amicable exchange of energy betwixt people that are suiting to one's soul. I like that. If you don't feel like that's here right now, it's right around the corner, right? We always have trials and errors in relation to what is possible for success. And if you happen to have strong Gemini, this is one of your adjustment points. You and Gemini are on the same day. And they actually talked about success and fear. I don't know, fear of success. If you want a deeper dive, feel free to use that as your extended reading, okay? So we're going to choose one from this and read the story. And it's kind of like the fool's journey and like where we are in that. Some people have received majors, some people it's minors. No big deal. It's cool that it's people, there's multiple people holding different positions, because that's what keeps it balanced, right? And of course I see knowing your own position. Even if that happens to feel a little shaky, I want you to know that you are leveling up, okay? Up, and I see, even if that's plateau energy, it's like, well, I heard it's also about being happy about where one's at, like right now, commando. Someone's underwear escaped. What's on the other side of that? Oh yeah, no more passive aggressive. Someone's clean. Someone had blood on their hands. Huh. Be careful with your. I guess be careful with your hands. Okay, so after we choose the story, we're going to look at you and then other people, or kind of inside outside. So I guess and then we'll elaborate with the tattoo tarot. You have any tattoos? Okay, let's see. Wait, hold on. Scorpio. Ooh, nice. The 8 of Wands. So I feel like Pisces got this card. This also came up throughout, like in different readings. I feel like Leo had it too. All right, so 8 of Wands is where you're at. So this is about this card to me is about shape shifting. It's like, all right, I can be a human, I can be a happy dolphin. I heard, I can be myself with this person. Who is that? This is also friendly energy with like friendly sailor energy. So that's always good, because when the sailors get along, then there's no mutiny, right? No mutiny. High Priestess, a Wheel of Fortune. No mutiny. And I heard, do you want to come with me? 4 of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune. This also is showing me support. There's also animal guides. There are human guides and animal guides that are helping you. What water animal spirit do you connect to? I like that the dolphin's showing up though, because dolphins pretty darn happy, right? They flip in the air, they have fun, they play. They're not always super serious, like, oh, okay, what do we have to conquer today? It's just like, no, dude, we're just going on a ride. You know what I mean? 8 of Wands. Again, this happened before. I don't remember what reading was, but that one will be another extension. Another branch on the tree. Alright, oh, I feel excited. I like this energy. Good. Good. Oh, thank you for being who you are, right? I heard you could be the worst of yourself and you're not. Good job. Alright, Wands. Swords. Oh, Wands. There we go. 4, 6. Gemini had the 6 of Wands. Now you're in the 8. I like that. So something between Gemini and you. So this is your thoughts about your mind and your soul. And then I saw a bridge between them. Okay, it says the 8 of Wands represents a release of creative energy after the anxieties and struggles of the 7 have been overcome. Conflict stimulates the imagination, and if we have been able to face it and see it through, there is often a period of smooth sailing, where our plans proceed towards the goal at a rapid rate. And there is a feeling of buoyancy and confidence, right? This dolphin never says to itself, oh, I'm gonna sink. You know, oh, I can't swim. There's nothing within them that says that, right? Can't fail in this world. Okay, interesting. It says, this unlocking of energy only arises out of tensions being released. How do you do that? Okay, let's read that again. To unlock the magic of the 8 of Wands, one must arise out of tensions by releasing them, as though the confidence is gained only through triumphing over obstacles. That's life, right? All right. It says the experience of release of new creative energy can be seen in many competitive sports, where after a patch of difficulty there is a sudden burst and the individual or team leaps towards the goal. It is also an experience common to the painter, the writer, the actor, and the musician. Any creative artist who has broken through a block is on the home stretch. The exhilaration of this state does not simply arise out of nothing. It must be paid for by meeting the challenge of competition and of self-doubt. Gemini talked a lot about that. Yes, Let's read that again. The exhilaration of this state does not simply arise out of nothing. It must be paid for by meeting the challenge of competition and self-doubt, out of which we rise with renewed energy. This tells us something about why we need conflict in our lives in order to create, and why so many artists seem to court quarrels and competition with others. There is a mysterious relationship between the workings of creative imagination and the presence of healthy conflict in our life. I feel like that's important to emphasize, healthy conflict. Right? Myth also tells us about this relationship, for the god Zeus, who presides over the story of Jason, which is the character on the boat here, exists in a state of constant tension and struggle with his wife Hera. She, embodying the laws of marriage and domestic life, perpetually restricts him and in turn challenges him to create. Thus we too need restriction and challenge in order to enjoy the exciting flow of energy which the Eight of Wands portrays through the image of Jason and his crew sailing for home. Right, because before we could reach this card, a lot had to be achieved and worked through. So on a divinatory level, the Eight of Wands heralds a period of action after a delay or struggle. Travel is sometimes implied, or a clear stretch of fruitful creative activity, zinga, where the imagination flows unchecked after anxieties and tensions have been overcome or resolved. So I guess if you're feeling anxiety or if you're feeling some tension, then it's actually suiting, because it creates the path to this place where one again can start to sail home, right? All the hardship has been, I mean, there's still a little storm after this, but right here, right? Smooth sailing. Smooth sailing. Let's write that down. What's a periodical? Is that like a, not a newspaper, but like a psychological periodical? Okay, here's you, Scorpio. Oh, Chariot, going right for it. So you're at the helm. The helm is your 12th house. So that means you have control. You have more control over that now. Although it can become discordant at times, but I think because of previous trial and error, and perhaps even escaping, I guess this is because I heard escaping your own like demon in yourself, the demons in yourself that make a person feel like I'll fail, right? This says to this dolphin, you can't swim. And dolphins, it's just like, of course I can. Of course I can. I like the way that a person's feeling right now. That's good energy. So again, 12th house is emphasized. It's like a person's not feeling like a victim. Do you know what I mean? Because 12th house can make a person feel like that. It's imprisonment. Right? Where it's just like prisoner of your own mind, prisoner of your circumstances, prisoner of whatever. It's just like past or present. It doesn't, it's not, that's not, I heard that's not happening. So someone again has a better handle over it. This has to do with your angles in your map, and then if you make, okay, it's called the cross. Okay, here's an astrological exercise if you're interested. Even if you don't know your map that good, print it out. It's kind of fun. So you take your map. We did this on Patreon for Janice Joplin. She's Capricorn. And actually has a lot of 12th house energy, just like Nina Simone, but she's a Pisces. Anyway, friends, same deep voice, right? So there's this thing called the cross of matter. And what you do is you take your map and you make a cross in it, like a plus sign, like a perfect plus sign, which breaks up your quadrants, right? It creates the circle in the plus sign, the symbol for Earth. This is your map here on Earth, right? Here's how to get through life. Here's some things you're even going to come across, right? Here's ways to avoid it, or to, you know, your strengths and how to use those to move through. Or kickstart creativity, right? Zinga. Find your home. You know, astrology is really fascinating. I mean, we make our own decisions, but it's a really helpful tool if you want to go there. So in your map, if it's not already there, create your angles, again, your plus sign. Then from there, I'll draw it. So you do it like this, and then what we ended up doing on that lecture, which was cool, is like you create another cross on it and then see what stars sit on these points. Okay? This will help you to get a better handle on how like the helm works. Although I sense a person's got a pretty good hold on it. But that may be something too. If something's transiting on your first, fourth, seventh, or 10th house, it's gonna affect the whole thing. And maybe that's what's happening, is like something felt shaky, and it was almost like, how am I gonna get out of this? Or like, how am I gonna deal with this? How am I gonna work through this? And it was just like, but the way we're saying it is not like, oh fuck, like total despair. It's where it's like, maybe a person just thinking back of how they've dealt with things. And I guess that which there was patience. Right, because woodpecker is very scorpionic to me. It gets rid of the negative part of Scorpio. Maybe if you see them spraying, they'll probably be around. But they pick up on things intuitively, like what is inside of the tree that's like killing it. You know, what is internal that is poisonous, that is a parasite. You know, and it comes in and it eats it. It almost has like a turkey vulture vibe, in a sense, where it's very cleansing so that things continue to grow, right? And that dis-ease does not spread. So maybe woodpecker could be something to learn from right now. Somebody may be learning how to drive too. Like maybe they haven't felt like they've been in the lead for a while, but now a person's feeling a lot more confident. And you know what? This could also be other people in your life that are happy, that are inspiring. Doesn't mean they're not going through tough stuff, but it's like how they've dealt with it. Maybe if you're still, again, there's a part of you that's like struggling. Who is it that, again, you're kind of like inspired by, where you're like, man, I wanna be that strong. Because it's helpful to know what that is, like as in a positive inspiration, instead of being like, fuck, how do they do that? I can't do that. It's not this, again, victimhood mentality. It's like, man, that part of them, how they deal with stuff or work with stuff, I heard I'm so impressed. It's like electric to me, you know. I don't know if it's exactly muse energy, but someone may be accepted. Maybe they just feel more accepted now to be a part of the crew, if you will. Oh, someone's also going at their own pace. That's good. But there's a little pickup in someone's step. There's a little pep. There's a little bit of pep in the person's step now. All right, outside of you. So my friend Alexandra made these cards. They're beautiful. They're all black and white, but they're not labeled like numbers or suits or anything, which is so more my speed. And some of it's, when I look at them, I'm like, oh yeah, this means that. And it's very clear. I understand. The reference is very clear. There's no like question or anything about it. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, what is that? But it's not like where I feel lost in trying to figure out what it is. It's just, what could it be? And then I guess I end up picking what feels good to me. You know what I mean? What, like, not exactly what feels right, but what ends up creating like a positive energy. This kind of feels like the Three of Wands and the Lover's card. Now we have a Queen, the Queen of Pentacles. Just a minute. Little Page of Cups, so happy. Hold on. I'm gonna light a candle real quick. So, so someone's gonna come across somebody on their path. Right, because this is on land, right? Again, the Eight of Wands is going home, if you will. Like, this is sailing home. And then you see here that they end up on the earth, and there's all these people, or a couple, a good handful of people here. So when you arrive on land, I guess when you get home, if you will, then just go slowly upon the path, right? Queen of Pentacles is a steady energy. What's she looking at? The Page of Wands. I heard, don't let other people's shortcomings ruin the... Oh yeah, let's elaborate on these a little bit. I still have a little bit more time. I'm actually going to go mosey into a place that I haven't been before, which is cool. Oh, everything's going this way. Oh, and it leads into the Nine of Cups. Great. Great. So it's all going right. It's going right. That's good. I heard when somebody's happy for their ex to, like, for someone else to find their love, then that is a very good forward momentum. Like, when someone is happy for someone else's happiness, that's what creates this Chariot's movement. It's almost like this is the motor of this Eight of Wands, or like motivator. Was Gemini mentioned that word too? Yeah, there's the Eight of Coins and the Magician. So, okay, after the Eight of Wands again comes the Nine of Wands, right? Which is where it's not exactly a battle, but it's like, I'm kind of tired. Things again slow down. You take a break, right? After all this row getting home, right? So it's okay. It's okay to look forward in the sense, because a person's got a pretty good eye on the path. You know what I mean? And they also recognize that, like, as they go along, there could be something that tries to throw someone off their path, or it opens up a new, like, avenue. You're going to have to decide whether, I heard, that's healthy or unhealthy conflict. Right? Because sometimes we're meant to, like, challenge ourselves and our choices, but try not to look to the future where you're like, oh, fuck, all right, this is smooth sailing. All right, you know that feeling? Oh, I see what's happening. You know that feeling where life isn't so chaotic and you feel more in control and you're at the helm of your own life, and even if your feelings are a little, again, feel shaky sometimes, it's like you got a pretty good handle on it. But if life has mostly been chaotic, then when it's smooth sailing, what happens sometimes is we make our own problems. Or we attract it. Because again, what did that say in the beginning? The story was, we need conflict to an extent to find the creativity, right? I'm picturing where, like, a painter couldn't figure out what to paint, and then, like, spilt the paint, and when it did, it landed on the canvas, and then they saw something, and then it inspired them, right? That's a kind of, like, friction, if you will, or problem that, but it's not. It's like, what is happy, right? You got it. All right, we got some big decisions to make here, right? All right, but don't worry about failing, because it's all happy little mistakes. Go Guru Bob Ross. Yeah, Six of Coins, Six of Wands. So don't try not to look to the future where you're like, fuck, all right, this is smooth sailing. All right, I know every time that it's smooth. I know every time that everything's going good for me. Like, what's going to happen next? Try not to do that. No, because when it starts to do that, I think the mind's too rigid then, right? It's taken up all this space about things that haven't even happened yet. And they may not even happen in the way that a person thinks. Again, from your previous experiences, you're going to be able to deal with anything that's happening. And I think it could even be less of, again, an actual factual, like, I don't see any, there's no hardcore problems here. Everything's good. So I think this is more of a shift in, right, we're in your opposite energy, so this is shifting something emotionally in your soul. Maybe I heard maybe it is kind of like, oh yeah, I feel more, yeah, I heard in control of my own life. Just a minute. I heard, who was your first crush? When did you start to believe in love? Right, not disbelieve, not crushed, but crush. You know, it's funny how these words are. Well, it's present and past tense, right? So actually, this could be a good time. Again, if it's not suggested to worry about what the future would be. Again, like what's the challenge? What's the problem? But it is thinking ahead, or at very least having conversations where it's kind of like, I mean, you have this with the Two of Cups, so it's like, all right, we're good now, but I know in the future we're going to need this. It's like, it's reminding me of like when someone buys, say you buy a property, like I'm seeing someone have like a rental property. It's like, okay, it's always good to have like an emergency fund, you know, where it's just like, all right, we're going to need, you know, this fridge is pretty old. We're probably going to need to get a new compressor, or like, it's just being aware of things, you know, like, oh, I don't know if this is exactly financial, but it's this physical world kind of energy where it's like, okay, and I keep hearing the word and seeing the word we. So this means the person's not alone in their situation either, or they don't want to be. And I see again where a person is being like, maybe they were a little shy about being a part of the crew again, or like being accepted in something. Not that a person is like having that ultimately define them, but it's where there's just a lighter, brighter energy around a person's heart, which I'm seeing as their soul. Like someone's waiting for someone to propose, or someone's waiting for someone. Instead of being nostalgic for the past, like living in the past, you know, like, oh, what's that song? I don't want to be sitting around talking about the good old days. It's just like, what about now? You know, like, yeah, that could have been a cool time back then. And we could take that and be like, oh, I want that. I heard, oh, I want that kind of situation again. But living in the past is different than taking parts of the past again that feel good and putting those towards that which you want. Right? Like I heard, oh, I want to love again. You know what I mean? Or like, oh, I want to feel, like I did back then. You know what I mean? When I fill in the blank. And you actually don't have any swords on the board. So I feel like the mind, again, is pretty clear here. So if you've already had these kind of conversations, if you've taken up, because this is also a person taking up a leadership role in being in control of their own feelings. You know what I mean? Like their own body, like not projecting anything onto anybody else. Yeah, Queen of Coins. No, it's like this is like Moon and Capricorn to me. It's like Ace of Cups. Be like, I know that it's, what was that song I heard on the radio the other day? It's like Whitney Houston, like the greatest love of all. I think that song talks about how you love yourself, and that's the greatest love of all, right? Whitney Houston dealt with a lot of abuse, chosen abuse, and then she finally figured out, like, what was healthy conflict or not. Yeah, someone's got the go-ahead on something. They got the green light. But you don't got to slam on the gas because the person's rowing anyway. But they're not rowing alone, right? With this kind of boat, you're not rowing alone. Those dolphins are not alone. These two people are not alone. But the one thing that is singular here is inside of you, which makes sense. It's not showing me this, like, dual nature in a person. And so if that does, again, like, get funky or what have you, I see Aquarius, Gemini energy. Could give some kind of inspiration there on, like, maybe what to do or how the energy's moving. I would also stay out of drama if for some reason it is around you. Right, because I heard this could just be something, again, as you go along, that's on the side. 10 of Wands, 6 of Wands. Yeah, it's just like, I heard, I got better things to do. I'm good. The Sun and the 10 of Cups. Yep. So that's very inspiring or important to it may not be the whole time through, but there may be little distractions on the side. And I guess that goes back into, not to be redundant, but like choosing between the healthy and unhealthy kinds of conflict. Ace of Wands, right? Cool. I'm glad that you have this kind of vitality emotionally in this time. And I like with the water, with the fire with it. So this is warm water, right? It's warm water. You ever been to a hot spring? Also very creative energy, right? The star. More Aquarius. And then there's Scorpio energy. So what you know in your soul now. Good job. A good job. Buona lavorare. What is it? Lavore? To work. Alright. I hope this was helpful. Thanks for being here. What else did I want to mention? Oh, I found this cool chick, another homegirl in the tribe that does rad readings that are like a lot of past life stuff, different storytelling, and she uses ink blots. She's a Capricorn, so that's usually a friend of yours. You get along with that pretty easy. But I scry with Steph. I'm going to put a link, and I'll add her to the Formidable Fellows on the main page, but I just found her recently. I didn't know, because she didn't tell me what she was creating, so I didn't know. But I'm really happy that I came across her, so that we connected. I mean, I guess it had been being connected, but I didn't know that it was connected. And now I know, and I'm really grateful and beautiful that kind of energy is on the other end of creation, of us creating. You know what I mean? It's really, yeah, look, it's so inspiring. And you too, of course. Thanks for being here. All right, I hope you have a great month. I'll talk to you later. Peace out.